Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Special news update from the Middle East today. Operation Gideon's Chariot to conquer the entire Gaza Strip on the behest of Israel has officially been approved. And Hamas has an ultimatum right now. Accept a ceasefire deal before Donald Trump leaves the Middle East or face the consequences, face the wrath of Israel. I'm your favorite white colonizer, Tall the Traveling Clad. Here, you got two special news updates coming your way today. We've got an absolute mess unfolding in the Middle East right now. Obviously, on the Gaza front, craziness is about to ensue, and it looks like we're going to full-on war with Yemen. You'll have a news update about Yemen just a little bit later after this one. I'm going to try to get this one out for you. We got an IDF reservist who's served over 500 days in the army since October 7th, the war broke out. Let's get this little update from him on Operation Gideon's Chariot.
Gotta bless the reservists. I mean, 60,000 call-ups are taking place right now for the third, the fourth round of service, and some of them, like me, have been in the whole time, and it's tough. And people are getting ready mentally, physically, training in their shooting, training in all the different technical aspects of being a soldier. And a senior security source just now mentioned that Operation Gideon Chariots, he's calling it, that's going to be the goal to defeat and subdue Hamas in Gaza and release all the hostages. And according to the source, in accordance with the plan formulated by the Chief of Staff of the IDF Command and approved by the Minister of Defense and the Prime Minister, IDF will defeat them entirely, destroy all of the military and governmental capabilities of the Hamas while creating strong pressure for the release of the hostages at the same time. I love this. This is what we need to do. I mean,
okay, so this soldier was on CBN News. I don't know his name, but he's amazing. Seems that he made Aliyah from Canada, just the way he pronounces GAZA. But I saw him give a sort of sermon or testimony yesterday on CBN News, which has been a channel that has supported this channel immensely. They're amazing Christian broadcast network. And he was talking about how there's a story, a biblical story about how Gideon was rallying 30,000 troops for this battle, and he did a test by the river, and whichever soldiers were just cleaning their face with water rather than dunking their whole face in the water, he chose which ones were too tired. So the ones who would dunk their entire face in the water, they were not part of this infantry unit. The ones who would just clean their face with water, he would call them into the army. And that's kind of the analogy of what we're going on right now. We have many soldiers who are tired. They have been in the army for a year plus now. Many of them reserve duty for over 300, over 400 days in combat units. And now they're rallying up to 60,000. I heard some as high as 100,000 soldiers up to reserve duty. I have friends who are soldiers from all over the world who are getting zimonim right now to go back to the army. Zimonim are like a call of action back. So we are posturing right now to scare the living shit out of Hamas, which I think is good. Now, the biggest part of this that everyone's talking about is there have been plans approved, and it seems this will be the last time there's any negotiation on this, to conquer the entire Gaza Strip. Essentially, Hamas has about 10 days right now to decide whether they want to come out with their hands open. IDF has claimed they will not return any of the land that has been conquered in Gaza up until this point right now. None of that is even up to negotiation. But on top of that, if Hamas proceeds to keep on holding the hostages and refuse to negotiate while Trump is in Israel and while Trump's envoy is in Israel and in the Middle East, they will conquer the entire strip and take it back into Israeli control. That's it. The Gaza Strip will no longer be a Palestinian piece of land. It will be Israeli again. And the plan is to facilitate Trump's plan of slowly bringing out Palestinians who want to leave. And then, again, you're going to probably fight another war there with a large portion of the civilian society. I mean, again, this is the part that everybody gets confused. I was watching a Preston Stewart video yesterday, and he was talking about this finally being an ethnic cleansing in Gaza, which is a thing that everyone's claimed Israel's been doing this whole time, but now it'll be proof of an ethnic cleansing. While I really appreciate Preston Stewart for his unbiased reporting, this cannot be an ethnic cleansing in any way possible, even if, okay, and vibe with me here for a second, even if the entire 2 million people of Gaza were to be kicked out of the strip or had to leave the strip, had to emergency evacuate the strip, even if 2 million of them had to leave, okay, this would still not be an ethnic cleansing. Why? Because, and this is according to the Arab world, I don't believe this. What about the over 70% of the Israeli populace, 70% that make up of Mizrahi Jews and North African Jews, who to the Arab world are Arabs? Would that, if they come in and replace that population in Gaza, would that not be the Arabs coming right back into Gaza? Different Arabs with a different religion, but they're all Arab Jews, aren't they? I mean, that's what they tell us all the time. And don't forget, another 20% of the Israeli populace are Israeli Arabs who, if this goes back to Israeli control, will 100% have the right to live there like they do anywhere else in the country. So it's not like Arabs are being ethnically cleansed from Gaza. There is a very problematic populace and a civilian populace who has proven time and time again to be in bed with a terrorist organization. Not every single civilian, but it seems like a large swath of them. And this is based on actual data. There have been surveys taken in the Gaza Strip since the early days of the war, and you're still seeing immense support for this terrorist group, still till this day. And on top of that, how many offers on the table have there been to relinquish the hostages? We know, according to where the hostages have been held, that many of them were held with civilians. Many of them. Many of them. It doesn't mean that all of them, and many of them are probably in tunnels as well. But it means that a large portion of them are involved with civilians. It's not an ethnic cleansing. It is not an ethnic cleansing. If Arabs are going to be leaving, and even people who identify as 48 Palestinians come in and move in where the Gazans were, which will undoubtedly happen, is that an ethnic cleansing? No, it's not an ethnic cleansing. You're not choosing one ethnicity and saying this ethnicity has to go. You're actually opening the door for the same ethnicity based on their definition. I don't believe in that, but it's their definition. They're the ones who call us Arab Jews. They're the ones who call Arabs of Israel Palestinians of 48. They're the ones who say it, not me. The UN defines it as such. So how in the world would that be an ethnic cleansing? You're just going to ignore that the rest of us exist? We don't want to live under missile fire. And so if you have Mizrahi Jews and Israeli Arabs that are willing to move in the place of the Arabs of Gaza at the moment, how would that be an ethnic cleansing? It's the same exact population. Are they not all Arabs? You explain to me. Explain it to me. I thought this whole time, according to the world and to the UN, that the Arabs were an ethnicity. I thought they were one unified people group. So you're going to have to start choosing your fucking definitions, world. And this isn't a slight at Preston Stewart. I think his reporting is great. I just think there's some things like that were actually, it's hard to understand. Because if you don't understand the nuance of the Middle East, it's impossible to make the distinction here. It can't be an ethnic cleansing in any way, shape, or form. Especially if you're going to be, first of all, that population will never fully be kicked out. But I don't think it's possible to facilitate the removal of 2 million Palestinians. But these plans, and I forgot to mention this because I went into a rant, these plans for Gaza, at the moment, they're using what they call the Rafah model, which is basically going to be to destroy every single structure in Gaza, every single structure, and move the entire 2 million population around Gaza in different situations where they'll be in humanitarian corridors, and the rest will be probably fought. And this will help them, hopefully, find the tunnel entrances and scan the entire Gaza Strip for all of the hostages, and they'll be able to find everybody. It's going to be a long, drawn-out plan and very, very violent. I think Hamas understands that we mean business right now, and we're not going to fuck around. They're on limited time right now. They've got about 10 days to come up with what they want to do, or they're going to feel the full wrath of the Israeli army. I'm fairly convinced, to be honest with you guys, fairly convinced they're going to come up with their hands open. There was one reporting that I had today from Jewish Breaking News, which was very interesting. It's something that happened a few days ago and was kept under wraps a little bit. It was, so the IDF announced that 2 Hamas operatives surrendered to Israeli forces in southern Gaza city of Rafah. Among them is a terrorist who was involved in the October 7th massacre and played a role in holding Israeli hostages. The surrender occurred several weeks ago during an operation by the 188th Armored Brigade in the Sha'abura refugee camp in Rafah. The military and the Shin Bet have identified one of the detainees as Yusuf Qadi, a Hamas platoon commander who crossed into Israel on October 7th. He was reportedly involved in taking several Israeli hostages, all of whom have been since released. The second operative has been named as Muhammad Zarab, a commander with Hamas's sniper unit. Both men were armed with multiple knives at the time they gave themselves up to the Israeli forces. During questioning by the Shin Bet, the two provided intelligence pointing to the location of major Hamas terrorist site in the vicinity, according to the military. The IDF has already completed the encirclement of Rafah and continues to operate in an area to locate the eliminate remaining terrorists. The military says it plans to expand its operations to additional neighborhoods within the city. Before I leave you today, I want you to remember one thing about Gaza. No matter how much news you've heard about total devastation, total destruction, I've seen Gaza with my own eyes. And of recent, before I left Israel, I was there. Not inside of Gaza, obviously, but outside. And you could see it with your own eyes. Large, giant swaths of Gaza have been destroyed. Absolutely. Immense destruction there. It's not all destroyed. People are still living there. There are still markets with food being sold. There's still water. There's still electricity in certain parts of Gaza. There is still life operating there. It's not a good life. It sucks. It's terrible. They are constantly under threat by Hamas and by the IDF, but they are living. What the IDF is proposing to do right now is completely destroy the strip. Like, not leave a single building standing in the strip. Because at this point, it is the only way for them to surgically remove the hostages and kill the terrorists. And as you can see, terrorists are... And this happened, I think, a week ago or so. And so we don't get that information immediately in case there's others who want to do it. But they put their hands up and they get ready to go. When they put their hands up and they give up, that's us a good indication that we're on the right track. Because we need them to realize they're on the losing side. And when you go in systematically and destroy building by building by building and leave nothing, there will be nothing to go back to. There will be nothing to look forward to. And Hamas would have lost everything at that point. You're basically giving Hamas an ultimatum of it's our way or the highway. And so we're hoping what I think is going to happen, my personal analysis, and I'll leave you guys with this. Most likely they're going to come to the negotiation table and delay the negotiations again. In the meantime, Israel has promised to keep military pressure on Hamas so that they're not doing the same plan of Gideon's chariot at the moment, but they're still going to be putting on immense military pressure. And what Hamas is going to do, most likely, run this till the very last moment, announce that they're willing to negotiate, and then delay those negotiations probably several times, and then maybe eventually capitulate and give up the hostages. Because once they realize it's really over for them, they have nothing to fight for anymore, they will come up with their hands open. They know that they still have a chance of being released in a future hostage negotiation, which, remember, forever, this will always be part of their ideology. This is part of the Islamist, pan-Arabist, colonial mentality to take innocent people hostage and then negotiate on the behalf of terrorists. This will continue into the future. This will not be the last time this happens. But that's what we're looking at. I hope you guys got some value out of this news update. I am Tall, the Traveling Clat, and I hope you guys do choose to support my channel because many videos like this one will get demonetized, especially since we're talking about very graphic topics here. So I hope you do consider supporting the channel by becoming a patron, and we'll have another news update for you right after this video a little bit later about what's going on in Yemen because shit is heating up big time. We're about to bomb the living shit out of the airport. It's going to be crazy. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys a long time. Thanks for supporting me. Bye-bye.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.